Have you ever thought back to Rockstar's previous titles and all of the features that those previous games offered? Well, I've been having to think, and I've compiled a list of all of the best features that I could think of across Rockstar's entire library and how it would be amazing if we could see this in GTA 6. So let's get into it. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Rockstar's previous games and how those games have brought some amazing features to gaming as a whole. So what would we like to see from these previous iterations of games from Rockstar in the new GTA 6? So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first game that I actually wanted to talk about was going to be The Warriors, and I remember playing The Warriors a while back when it first came out. And some of the features that it offered were just amazing. So the first thing I want to talk about is going to be stealing from cars and stealing from shops. And at the time that this game came out, that was super exciting, right? We hadn't seen anything like that before in a game, and a lot of games nowadays don't even offer that unless you're playing something specific, whether that is Payday franchise, for example. But being able to just roam around in free roam in the Warriors and go and break into shops and steal from the shops, as well as break into cars and steal the car radios for money, I thought that was a really cool little feature that they had, and I hope they bring that into Grand Theft Auto 6. I know we've seen some stuff within the leaks, just going over some of the breaking into containers and other things along those lines, but I would definitely love to be able to do some form of heist and more in-depth theft from convenience stores, etc., which I believe is definitely going to be in the works, but I just thought that deserved a little mention. So for number 2, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was actually going to be the melee combat from the Warriors. So thinking back to the Warriors is definitely a fighting based game. It's very combat orientated, and obviously with that comes additional moves and additional combat moves that you can learn throughout the game as well as use in the game. So a few things that I wanted to mention, which I do hope that they bring to Grand Theft Auto 6, is more in-depth combat. You know, we've seen the fighting within games like The Warriors, where you've got kicks, you've got throws, you've got grapple abilities, you can take people down, you can actually interact with the environment around you, and that's something that I'll cover in a step in a moment. But I think they need to add that form of depth to the combat. I think in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 4 it was very basic. You can shove, you can lock on, you can dodge and punch. You know, there's not really much to it. I would love to have a lot more control over my character for the combat. I think that would be great. Number 3 is just a little fun one. I thought it would be cool to be able to pick up items of clothing off of enemies that you hit. So for example, here you can see that when the player hits a certain character, their hat falls off, they can pick that hat up and put that on and wear it. I think that would be pretty cool to be going around the world of Grand Theft Auto 6, be able to have a fight with a civilian, see they've got a hat on, maybe knock their hat off and steal their hat, or just be able to interact and take items of clothing such as a hat or a bag off of an NPC and interact with that and wear that item. I thought that would be a cool little addition to the new Grand Theft Auto. And then number 4, I wanted to talk about interacting with the environment. I think this would be amazing if you could actually get into a brawl with someone within Grand Theft Auto 6 and then be able to grab them and throw them into a car, or interact with a car door perhaps, or throw them through a glass window, you know, something like that where you can actually interact with the environment around you. I think that would be really cool. Whether it is this very similar animation each time, but you can interact with multiple different things within the environment, I think it just adds a new flavor to the combat of the game, rather than just the straightforward punch and dodge. So the next game I was going to touch on is going to be Max Payne 3, and in point number 5 it's going to be going over the gunplay. So I definitely think the gunplay in the Max Payne 3 game was far more advanced than we've seen before in Grand Theft Auto. So being able to run around, you know, the way that the camera moves, the fluidity of the character movement as well as being able to hold a pistol in one hand and a shotgun in another, or an assault rifle in another, adds that level of realism to the game. And that's what we want to see, or that's particularly what I want to see in the new Grand Theft Auto, and some people may not. But we have heard things about the potential new weapon system of only being able to hold a few weapons at a time, so maybe that functionality will be part of the game. But I do definitely think the gunplay and the way that the bullets interact and the characters interact with getting shot and things like that from Max Payne 3 should definitely be brought into Grand Theft Auto 6. If you see You can probably see in the clips that I'm providing here that people are getting shot in the legs and they're interacting, they're falling over, they're in pain, they're trying to run away, things like that, right? Rather than just a straight shooting someone in the leg, then get up and run away, right? And it just do damage to their whole body. It'd be great if they could take damage in individual parts of their body and actually react to that damage. So number 6 is going to be destruction to the environments. And this is something that you will definitely be seeing in the background footage here. When bullets are flying everywhere, I would love to be able to see the environment taking damage, right? In Max Payne 3, they do this amazingly. If you shoot through glass, the glass is shattered. If you shoot through wood, you're leaving big bullet holes, or parts of the wood is all flaking off everywhere. I would love to see this sort of functionality. Obviously, potentially not to this extent, because we know that Max Payne, you're just loading in smaller levels, as opposed to Grand Theft Auto is going to be you're loading in a whole world. So the potential of doing this form of destruction may not be as in-depth and as accurate, but showing some form of destruction I think would be an amazing addition to the Grand Theft Auto franchise as well. The next game I was going to touch on is going to be Canis Canem Edit, and that is otherwise known as Bully. One thing that I wanted to touch on here was the reputation system. So this may have been something that was definitely overlooked by a lot of people when they're playing the Canis Canem Edit game or the Bully game, and that is the reputation. So as you go through the story, you're constantly building reputation with all of these other sort of groups or gangs within the school, and by doing one interaction with one gang may cause your reputation to go down with another. So I think bringing that sort of reputation system into the new Grand Theft Auto would be amazing, right? Imagine that we've got a couple of different gangs within the game and we can work on side businesses with them perhaps, or some form of side activity. If you're interacting with them in a positive way, you're building that relationship with them, but then if they're enemies with the opposing gang, that's going to negatively affect your reputation with them as well. I think having some form of reputation would be an amazing addition, and something that would be really cool to the GTA franchise that we haven't really seen before, right? We've seen gang wars and things like that, but we haven't seen a reputation system and maintaining certain reputation systems. The next thing that I wanted to talk about from Bully was actually going to be the interactive mini games which was involved with the classes. So as you can see, you would go into the classes and you would have these additional mini games where you would go through and do the lesson. If you complete the lesson, you would be rewarded with some form of additional skill or some additional move perhaps, or an additional item that you could craft, right? I think having maybe side missions or certain things where you could go and learn additional things for your character would be really cool and entertaining. And I know that was part of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You know, you had the gym, you would go to the gym and you could work out, but you could also go and see the combat masters, and there would be different combat masters all around the world, and you could go and learn different fighting styles from those individual combat masters. So I think bringing something like that with new additions to it, new skills, perhaps learning how to break into certain items, perhaps learning how to lockpick, or perhaps learning how to enter a car with a jimmy as opposed to just smashing it with your elbow, right? It would be cool that if you started off as a very basic criminal, but you could work your way up through learning additional skills as well, and then it making your life a little bit easier within Grand Theft Auto. Number 9 that I wanted to talk about was going to be from Midnight Club LA, and what this is going to be covering is just in-depth car customization. We've seen car customization within Grand Theft Auto, but to the level of car customization that you could do within Midnight Club LA, I would love to see that within the new Grand Theft Auto. They have added a plethora of customization to the online space for GTA Online, and to be able to bring that into the new Grand Theft Auto game with even more customization options would be a massively welcomed addition. Being able to really make a car your own in the Grand Theft Auto space and having full customization of your car is definitely going to be something that a lot of people will want to spend a lot of time doing. Number 10 is from LA Noire, and this one, a lot of people may not agree with this, but I think it may be quite a cool little addition, but it would be a lot of work for a small amount of the game. So what I was thinking is, for LA Noire, you had certain parts of the game where you could go and, well, where you would go and be a detective, and you would question certain people, you would interact with puzzles and you would interact with the environment around you. And how cool would it be if they incorporated that kind of gameplay into some form of side mission or some form of side activity? Let's say the vigilante activity, being able to go away and try and track them down via some form of LA Noire detective mode. I think would be really cool and would add some more to that game mode. Currently with the vigilante missions, all that you do is you go after someone, you shoot them, and then you're done. That's it, right? Adding a more in-depth sort of side activity, I think would be a really welcomed addition as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about that. And then obviously I wanted to briefly talk about Grand Theft Auto and the Red Dead Redemption series. I've already covered a few bits in a few of my other videos for these, which I'll put up in the top right hand corner for you here. But this is just going over a few things that would be great to see from the Red Dead Redemption games as well as the Grand Theft Auto games. So Grand Theft Auto 4, we had the Euphoria engine, which was an amazing engine in terms of physics and interacting with the world and how your character would interact with the world. We had the 6-star wanted system, which we definitely want to see within Grand Theft Auto 6. We had multiple endings within Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 4, depending on the decisions that you made, right? So incorporating more decisions within Grand Theft Auto 6 would definitely be amazing. We didn't get a huge amount of decisions to make within Grand Theft Auto 5, but we did have a lot of decisions that we could make within Grand Theft Auto 4. And by doing that, it definitely made you think about the outcome of every decision that you made. So I would love to see more decisions being brought to Grand Theft Auto 6, like it was in Grand Theft Auto 4, and having the decision to potentially change the ending of the game as well, like they did in Grand Theft Auto 5. Also touching on the other Grand Theft Auto games, we had things like the gym, which I briefly touched on already in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the gang wars that we already had in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas as well, Grand Theft Auto Online, the side businesses and the way that worked. Imagine bringing that in a more in-depth way into the story mode so that you could make a lot of money outside of just doing stocks and shares. And also mini games and side activities. This is a great thing that we had a lot of in Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5, but bring some of the old ones back. You know, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, we actually had basketball. Grand Theft Auto 4, we had bowling, we had darts, we had the drinking. All of these additional things just made the world feel more alive and meant that you had more things to do, right? You didn't get bored as quickly. So definitely would be amazing to see a few of those return for Grand Theft Auto 6. Then moving on to Red Dead Redemption, I just wanted to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 and sort of how lifelike the world actually is. You know, all of those lifelike interactions, NPCs having their daily things to do, to walk around the world, those dynamic interactions where you may just be riding down a road and you stop to help an NPC, but now 2 more people have run out of the bushes and they're trying to rob you, you know. These dynamic random events that occurred really made that world feel alive. The weapon system as well within Red Dead Redemption 2, going back to your horse to change your weapons but only having a select few weapons on you. I personally did really like that, but I can see a lot of people within the community not liking that for Grand Theft Auto, right? A lot of people like to have the ability to just wreak mayhem and have an RPG on your back with an arsenal of other guns. So whether that will be a welcomed addition, I don't know, but I think that could potentially be heading in that direction. Also the morality system. I think the morality system was quite cool as to how the world interacts with you within Red Dead Redemption 2, and having that feature where the NPCs would potentially fear you if you had a negative morality system, right? And you're a well-known criminal. You know, having that sort of thing within the new Grand Theft Auto as well, I think would be really, really cool to see. So that's just a few of the features that I found whilst looking back on all of the old Rockstar titles that I thought would be a welcomed addition for Grand Theft Auto 6. Let me know down in the comments, guys, have I missed anything? Are there other games within the Rockstar space that you would love to see certain features come across from? Let me know down in the comments, guys. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear if you agree with the features that I've brought to the table. So if you enjoyed the video, guys, please smash that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit that notification bell to be notified as soon as my videos go live. I'll be covering everything that I can on GTA 6 as soon as it comes out, and if you want to be a part of that, make sure you tune into the videos. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.